I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThatUmbrellaGuy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me.
Whoa, bro. Looking good, man. You working out? You lost weight? Wow. Great suit, by the way. You working out, man? You're looking good. That's a nice suit. What is that? What is that made of? You know, velour? What, a silk robe?
This ThatUmbrellaGuy.
Coast to coast, who's that face that's feeling you miss the most? It's that umbrella guy straight from the hat rack. Godzilla with cleats with the bass dropping impact, cranking up the stylings in the syllable blender. Body bag, toe tag, return you to sender. Poke that umbrella guy, your lyrical confessor. E-strap, flipped up, fully automatic microphone suppressor. Army of one, rolling through your silence. Pound for pound, unleash your rounds. See what buys are just my silence. Ghost riding the whip, the masked up live vendor. Boxing up your threats and returning them to sender. Stepping to me, you better bring your nation as I wreck you to the population. It's that umbrella guy on the verbal flamethrower. Notching up the belt, not just some lame shower. Cranking up a stream just to show what's beneath. I'm masked up, baby, but I'm still sporting teeth. With one bling to rule them all and one bling to blind them. Iced out, grilled up, hunting knowing we'll find them. The E-homes are always flammable, it will ignite you. Calling out the games you play just to spite you. I'm still standing.
I'm still standing, baby. What's up? How's it going today? Man, oh man, oh man. You want to hear something funny, by the way? So today, I was running a little behind today because over the last few days, we've had a little pipe leak. You know, it's a pipe leak under a basement sink. And the way they've run the water to this in this house is freaking insane. So anyway, I was showing my daughter. I was like, you know, when we get this together, I want to show you how we can replace this and stuff. That way, you know, you'll know how to do this a little bit. So I took her out, I turned off the water and stuff, and I kept telling her, I was like, you know, if the water isn't turned off, right, and you undo everything, then you'd have a real problem. You know, the water would still be on, it'd still be on, it'd be a mess. Well, when I went to unhook everything, you know, there's water. There's going to be a little bit of water in the pipe still, so it's going to come out. And, you know, she didn't, I told her that, but she didn't understand it. I told her before I turned off the water, there'd be a little water there. So anyway, I undid it, you know, and pulled off the pipe. Water started coming out a little bit. Oh my God, her reaction was so funny. She was like, oh my God, we did it wrong. Like we're gonna flood the house. We did it wrong. Oh my God, it was the best thing ever. Oh, but it took me a few because it was a mess. It's always a mess. It was done right, by the way. It didn't flood the house. But She was just, oh my God, we did it wrong. Oh God, it killed me. Man, oh man, oh man. Stuff gets crazier every day. By the way, yesterday I took a day off. I have a few questions about that. I take days off to dedicate totally with the kids, you know. But yesterday, I decided I'd go out. I want to show this just real quick. Just want to note this, okay? So yesterday, I got my daughter her first perfume. I thought this was interesting. Man, she's getting so old. They both are. I was getting nostalgic yesterday. And I want to say something too. I said this on Twitter, but I want to say this too. Man, I really appreciate like random women. When I go to the store with my girls, you know, we're clothes shopping and stuff. Like, random women are so helpful with things. And I appreciate the heck out of that. You know, because the first time I did it, I don't know anything about size or anything like that. And it's just interesting, you know. Because I'm not that, like, style-wise, like, I can't really tell you about style for kids' clothes. Like, little kids, I can be like, that's cute or whatever, but, you know, when they're getting up to close to teenage, I don't know what to add to that. But man, random women out there are like, oh yeah, you know, they help out. They're encouraging. I appreciate the heck out of that. So that's props to all ladies. I mean, that's been far and wide the experience that I've had. You know, every time I've had to go out and do something like that. It's always been a good experience there. But just random people are always helpful and stuff. Like, I remember the first time I went over and I'm looking at freaking, what was it? I was looking at, like, girl skirt sizes. I was like, what is this? Is this, like, some kind of hidden mathematics or something? You know? What am I supposed to do with this? This little lady was, you know, saw me like looking like a fish out of proverbial water way back when and was like, oh, let me help you with that. It was nice of them. But anyway, I just wanted to give props there, man. People are so helpful with that kind of stuff. So apparently, there's been quite a lot going on. We've had, give me a second here. We have had a motion to disqualify a judge. We've, well, of course we have, by the way. I mean, that, we've been talking about how that would be pretty much the first move that you would see in this. We've also had, apparently, like, Bruce is fucking crazy. Like he will not leave Veteran Nation alone. It's wild. Like, he was telling him in messages. Give me a second. Listen to this shit. We'll look at some of this too. But he was telling him. 1 minute here. I gotta find this one real quick. My friend to Veteran Nation, you should learn when and how to eat shit. Sometimes eating shit can set you free. I was like, is that a life goal for you, buddy, or something? Because, you know, most people don't really phrase things like that. Eating shit will not set you free. I'm just going to note that. Maybe. He's like, ooh, that's what I like is finger licking. It's like, what the God? No. This is the worst advice, legal or otherwise, that you can ever give anyone. Eating that poo-poo will set you free. It might set you free, all right. It might get you a first-class trip to the afterlife. Eat a little bit too much of the poo-poos. Oh, my God. This dude, man. Yes, please do not eat the poo-poos. That's it. You know, I know we've given caution about the yellow snow. Well, I didn't think we'd have to give caution about that. It reminds me of this song from, who is it, the Beatles, or they have like a little They have a little skit in one of their songs. They get pulled over by a cop, and the cop's like, "What you doing?" They're like, "Eating chocolate." "Where'd you get it?" "Doggy dropped it." And the cop's like, "Carry on." That's what I thought of when I first read that. I was like, no. That and the song about yellow snow, you know, watch out where the doggies go and don't you eat that yellow snow. I was like, man, I don't want to have to come up with a jingle for this one. Brucey, that's bad. That's bad mojo, buddy. You got this. He's like, yo, leave me alone, Bruce. You're weird. You're fucked up. Go away. What happens? He starts bothering him in fucking comments on Facebook or some shit. He just won't go away. And then, then they're sitting around with Megan Fox's stuff. And they're, what did they call that? What was it? Fucking title defamation? I don't remember exactly the time. I forgot to write the shit down. It was funny, though. I was like, what? Because apparently building Legos and calling the Legos Turtle Purgatory, they were like, oh no. Oh my God. It has been, and they've been sitting around complaining about Megan's boobage. Oh Lord. I mean, what a fucking weird joke. Yeah, property defamation. That's probably what it was. I can't keep up with this stupid some days. I'm just like, the Legos, really? They were... Apparently, they didn't understand what a gauntlet was, either. You know? Like, so, in part of her Lego set, she set up this area where, you know, there's nails and glass and, like, hammers and shit like that. And, you know, you're running the gauntlet, right? And apparently they don't understand that. They don't understand that that's based on everything that's been seen in videos. You know, watch out, you get a nail in your eye. You know, all this other crazy stuff. Apparently they don't understand why that's there. Oh, I swear, I shouldn't be this entertained, but I am. I certainly am. What's up, Fallen Hero, by the way? Thanks for kicking it off with a gifted membership there. Appreciate you. The Bernice, thanks for the 23 months. Hey, Tug, it's been a while since I caught a live. Hope all is well. Thank you. Marcia, thanks for the 2. Did I catch the Jeremy Hale's son video about abuse? I noticed that got a request to take down, by the way. Yeah, I noticed that. I figured we get a little clarity on what all is going on with that before we comment here, too. There's also the interesting thing. Does that influence Otter Creek? It may make you think something about a person or not. Right? Like I said, we get clarity on the... Got to take this down because of... Like I said, hey, we get a little clarity on that. Does that influence Otter Creek? Not a lot influence the person there. Like, again, there are many people that do or don't like Jeremy Hale anyway. Does that influence you over the crazy and suing DUI guy? Going after Veteran Nation? Going after fucking Megan Fox? Threatening everybody else? Oh my God. Does that suddenly, is that a redemption arc for John Cook that I'm smelling? No, I'm not smelling a redemption arc there in any way, shape, or form. You know? I mean, does that magically wash away the fucking police video? I know there are a lot of people out there that want it to. They want to be like, yo, this is what we've been waiting for. You know, here's the thing. The internet runs at the speed of the internet, which is that. Right? There can be no clarity. There can be no 2 days, 3 days to figure out. There can also be no going along with wishes of a person that says, take down clarity. Like I said, we'll see. We'll give it a couple of days. You know? But it's just so, it's so nuts. What's also crazy about some of this stuff, too, is by the old definition that a lot of these people use over what is or isn't defamation. Holy shit, man. These people are guilty of some pretty nasty. They're looking for anything. They're like, oh my God. You know what they want to do? They want to count them. They want to count other people's money. They're like, oh, I can feel it fall in my pocket. Those 9 hours I've been living on these streams, they're going to pay off because you ain't making shit, Bruce. You ain't making that money. You ain't making that cheddar. Maybe you can stick your fingers in DUI guy's pocket. Hopefully when you're reaching around in there, you get permission, because I'm just going to say Larry isn't going to like that. You know? He's like, what do I feel there? Oh, man, Larry, I think I found a roll of quarters. Larry's like, that ain't a roll of quarters, baby. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Roll it all. Don't take it. Don't unwrap it. Oh my God. This is so assed up insane. Like I said, here's the reality of it. They want to be like, oh, look, this is a redemption arc. Really? So suddenly it just washes away John Cook pulling the pow-pow on an 8-year-old, right? Or, I'm going to go with allegedly. Allegedly touching an 18-year-old unwantedly, and it being witnessed by 3 people, or a history of violence for himself. It just washes all that away. All the craziness, all the insanity that we've been looking at, all that just washed away in one move. Whoosh. You know? Oh my God. You wish you may, you wish you might, but you're not going to wash away that stupid denial. There ain't no way that shit's ever going to wash away. I mean, yeah, you can, like I said, yeah, you can even bitterly despise me and still look at crazy and think crazy. I'm not saying that I bitterly despise or anything. I gotta say it. With a situation like that, I'd like to know more, for sure. You know, the difference between Otter Creek and allegations that come up is most of my stuff from Otter Creek has come up with proof from cops, you know, proof for this or that. I mean, again, we'll see. And then you had requests to remove, and like I said, give it a couple of days, we'll see. We'll see what's there. I'm sure there'll be more statements about that. It's the wonder of the internet, though. Everything that goes up always gets, at least it may not always come down, but it definitely gets darts and arrows thrown its way. Some deserved, some not. You know, it's just the craziness of everything. Give me a minute here. Thank you, welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Doug's. Appreciate you there. Candace, thanks for the 2 months there. Did you see that horrific video that they're saying is Jeremy's son, talking about manipulation, psychological abuse? Horrific. Yeah, I've seen them talking about it. Like I said, I also saw the discussion about takedown. Like, again, there's more to that. And it's got to be fleshed out. Like some of those situations, I'm not saying I have particular reason to just, I want to be very clear and concise on certain things. You know, very, very clear and concise on certain things. Because situations like that can be horrible. Other factors come in, and God, there's such a mess. And again, ultimately, when I look at Otter Creek and I look at Ohio, this is just more attitude. It's tragic. Again, here's yet another tragedy that comes with Otter Creek. You know what that is? Otter Creek, you have a kid, now you have another kid. For whatever reason, they become they become part of it. You know? Because they're added to it. Because hey, you're not going to tell me that this stuff just magically appeared. Just because of nothing, right? It didn't just come out of nowhere. And just have it brought up. And that is the tragedy of fucking all of this. I'm not saying the place Otter Creek. I'm talking about the Otter Creek side, whatever you want to call this shit. The sadness of it is, it's highlighted even more right now. Not because of the size of a YouTube channel, but because of what's going on. See, I mean, I tried to look at some of the, you know, I knew there was also drama with that storage place. I can't remember their name. I was like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on with that, you know. And I always look at something too, and I'm like, what does that say about what I'm seeing or covering? What does that say? Does it say something about the person? Does it say anything about particular motive or lack of motive? Does that say anything specific about not them, but does it say it involved in what we're talking about there? And ultimately, something like that can say something about a person. But like I said, does it change the Otter Creek insanity? Has it suddenly just washed away everything? You know, did it? Because I remember the day before, like, all of that came up, you know what I was hearing is that everybody in Otter Creek that dislikes these people or has a problem with what they're doing, talking about Cook and Preston, they're all somehow the same person. Remember, it went from Madam Mayor and all these people all being somehow interwoven to now we have something new. Oh, here's something. Let's throw those darts. And again, we just keep getting, we keep ignoring and keep going further and further away from all the questions. Like I said, you know, we were setting at a question of how the fuck is John Cook safe at that property? We were still setting on that question. How the fuck is that safe? How does that work? Oh, well, Jeremy! Did that make it better? Did it suddenly get better? Holy shit. It's amazing to me, too. People who can give a rat fuck about kids, they suddenly care about children now? Bravo, man. Selective, huh? You suddenly care about kids. That's amazing, because you didn't care about it when we were fucking reading these statements from this fucking Jokelist the other day, where they were talking about their concerns about fucking doping kids every single night with melatonin. I'm not saying that you can't use melatonin every single fucking night. Overuse. They're talking about going out and trying to liquidate a few chihuahuas around the side. Nobody seemed to give a fuck about that. Suddenly they care about kids now. Bravo. It's amazing to me. Suddenly they're all about saving them. But you know, okay, what are we talking about? Abuse. Let's see if we can see that behavior. So if we're going to, let's just say what kind of horrible stuff they want. So obviously we all agree. Abuse is bad, huh? What type of abuse is there? There's environmental abuse. Do they all agree environmental abuse is bad? Unlivable conditions, all of that is bad, right? Verbal, emotional, physical, all that's bad, right? Did it suddenly start mattering? It's amazing to me. It's fucking amazing. It only matters when. Remember professionals and CBS and all that stuff. Anyway, I'll rant about that for a long time. I could read about that all night. What's up, Sassy? Sassy J in the UK. I like that name, by the way. That's cool. Sassy J in the UK. Thanks for the 5 gifted memberships. I'm not minimizing any abuse ever. Like I said, I work with kids. This is something, like I've mentioned this here and there. People need to understand. I worked in therapy for a while, and people in that, they don't, in generalized care, people oftentimes don't want to take on just pure kid clients, because you're talking about people who can't afford to go out and get a specialist. They can't afford to go to a big city and get somebody that can deal with trauma. They're trauma oriented. They get a general practitioner almost, for lack of better words. I'm just giving you an idea. So you get these catch-alls, which they're necessary, but especially with CPS. So I'm gonna end up with awful cases, awful. And I did that for years, until after a while, I noticed I emotionally would react. You imagine sitting across a table from a little bitty kid, and them telling you the worst fucking shit you've ever heard. And you gotta be this stone wall. And I could for a while. But then I couldn't. And that's just secondhand from it. Now, some people can. Some people can do it forever. Some people can be a stone wall. But for me, and it made me look at the world. It's what it is. I'm not going to say it made me look at the world any worse. It made me look at the world as what it is. Very clearly. I look at listings where predators were. I also, for a little while, I do a catch-all with clients for a little short time. I saw not only victims, but I saw perpetrators too. And when I say that, I want to make this clear. I saw perpetrators because somebody has to keep them monitored. Otherwise, 4 out of 5 will reoffend within a year. That is statistically proven. 4 out of 5, 80%. With correct monitoring and everything else. Not pats on the back and poor you. I'm talking about making sure they cannot reoffend. It'd be 1 in 5. They still 1 in 5 do. But then unfortunately, you have one that really is horrible fucking people. It didn't last very long there because, you get those that don't pretend that they're horrified by what they do. And working with victims. I don't do that anymore. So I love all these people who suddenly give the fuck about kids' safety and everything else, man. Why don't you join us in the trenches and do some real stuff? Or you're just gonna try to threaten some dude because he saw stuff and it bothered him enough that he felt that he should appropriately contact governmental services about that. Is that how concern works? But anyway, like I said, I digress on that. But I did. I no longer do that because I still work with mental health, but I do not do that anymore because that secondhand stuff. Even then, it goes. It wants to make. I can put up a wall and talk about it for a little while. But even then, it wants to leak in. When I started talking about doing that in the past, I had to bite that emotion back. For a while on YouTube, I couldn't even talk about stuff that oriented with kids. Couldn't even do it. It messes you up inside. And you see it a lot, actually, with providers that work in DHS. You see them. You see therapists. Doctors. I mean, you see it all through all of it. And if it impacts the people providing services, you can imagine how bad it is for kids. But anyway, I'll catch a few more of these, and then we'll go through the court thing, and we'll talk about some of the other stupid. I don't mean to be dark I'm trying to be just blunt about the reality of this stuff. I see a lot of fucking people that want to harp on, and they want to be keyboard slacktivists. They want to care, quote unquote, care, but they don't really. They've never tried to change anything. And they don't really care about that. It's just a brand new bludgeon, you know? It's just like posting signs around a town and calling someone a child harpist. You know what? I've seen kids that have been through that and tried to put their lives together. And it's awful. Those words matter. They matter because the people who really do that kind of stuff, they are the worst type of monster that you can imagine. But anyway. Yeah. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships too. Appreciate that. You and Sassy J. Man, I appreciate both of you. I want to give you both love there. I know, not attention for a second. Sue Scott, thanks for the twin there. I was 10-year-old, no divorce, 40 years, and I don't know why I was estranged. Can't remember. Not defending anyone, but it was clear. He was being interrogated, is that supposed to be? I thought it said integrated at first. Interrogated? And nothing. Exploiting him for his name? Yeah, there's the question. See, they always throw around the thing, too, of people don't really care about that kid. They just are using him for this. That's the major thing. Do they really care about Jeremy's kid? Is that it? They really care about him? They suddenly, like I said, they suddenly care? Huh. It's fascinating. Liz, thanks for the 2 months. People without kids need to quit telling others about being a parent. Raising a child or teen or young adult is very difficult. There are monsters among us, and there's all kinds of fucking messed up stuff out in the world. Man. Oh, I talked about a couple of cases one time. I'll never do that again, by the way, but I've talked about them a couple of times. There's horror out there. I mean, things that I've heard about, you know, or I've seen case files on. Oh, there's horror out there. That's why I like slacktivists irritate. That's why false accusation, why I got stuck on false accusations. Like, a lot of people don't get this. I cover comics and all kinds of other stuff, and then I got stuck on false accusations. And the thing that drove me to it are people that utilize the words against people that didn't do these things. And the reason that bothers me is because ultimately, at the end of the day, like I said, those words have power. Even in jailhouses. We talk about a child harpist, I'm going to say. They are the lowest of the low. They don't have a long lifespan, and there's a reason for that. It's because they're scum. And we don't want to take away value from those words. And one more, and then we'll hit this. Okay. Mercy, thanks for 5. I'm saying I can demonize her with the skeletons. None of them are in the riot. The people trying to expose him are as bad, are the same as him. Well, I'm going to say, when you have, so if you feel that a situation in the past is there, or was there rather, it should have been prevented, right? That stuff should be prevented, right? I hope everybody would agree that. I'm not pointing at you either. I'm not saying this toward you. I'm just saying this in a general. Again, if people are anti-environmental neglect, that shouldn't be happening, right? Emotional and verbal neglect shouldn't be happening, right? And if it is, it should be stopped, right? Yeah, that's it. So they can't. This will be a. This has become a gotcha to shut people up about things that, when they see something, you know, the whole see something, say something. Well, it's like, oh, let's shut that down. Now, speaking of kids, I'm gonna have a kid coming just a second, and then we'll get to this document. Hey.
I poop, but one thing, if it caused cookie combos up, and it mushed him, and it cut the fridge, you make combos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's good. So wait, you started that out and told me you went to the bathroom?
Yeah, poop.
That's very good. Good job.
That was a lot of poop.
Oh, no. Okay, thank you for telling me that one. I appreciate it.
I
Good
go
job.
see if my cookie crumbles are done yet.
Okay, and then you're going to talk about food. All right. So those two separate things. There, I was like, wait a minute. Those were really close together. Like, it sounded like, Kids are hilarious. You know, I wish I could get back to the time where I would be like, you know what? I do you boo. I wish I could be proud like that. Ugh. Excuse me for a second. We made some cookie crumbles too. So she was like, by the way, I'm gonna check out the cookie crumbles. I was like, wait, what? So I was like, did I hear that right? Did I understand what you were saying there? Okay, I did. Thank you. Oh my God. All right. She's gonna come back in a second. Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
There's something wrong with my sink. What's up?
Hey, why don't you get one more rocket pop for today?
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
What's that?
Okay, show me.
When I tried to flip my stapler on both sides, look.
Oh, yeah. Well, here, bring it to me. Let me look at it. Yeah.
Try.
Yeah. Oh, it's because you dented it really bad. You see that?
Oh, sorry.
I don't know if that'll fix. Here, leave it with me, and I'll see if I can fix it while I'm on live stream. Okay? You go upstairs and close the door for me, and go play for a little while, and let me see. I'll try to fix it while I'm on live stream. Okay?
Okay. If you fix it, tell me.
I'll work on it. Yeah,
I'll.
I'll.
Couples are not done yet.
Okay. Yeah, I figured that wouldn't be done. Okay. All right. All right. Close my door, please.
I know.
Thank you, baby. She has a slap bracelet that has it has wheels. She calls it her monster. She says it's her monster truck, and she brought it to me. She'd been playing with it, and you know, with the slap bracelet, it's got wheels on it, and you can pull it back. You know, it races across the floor. And she's been driving it off the steps and everything else in the house. It's really funny to watch, like, her strap a stuffed animal, like a little bitty one, you know, to it, and fly them off the steps, Dukes of Hazzard style. But she had dented the slab bracelet. I'm trying to see if I can straighten it out, because it won't stay in one piece anymore, because it got a big dent in it. So I'm fixing it there, or I'm trying to. I think I can fix it, but she loves this thing. I got it for her yesterday when we went out. Okay, let's look at this document here. If you hear this noise, that's what I'm just telling you, like you heard about it. So I'm telling you, you're going to hear me trying to fix this stinking little thing. And like I said, I think I can. I just got to fold it outward and press the dent out of it. All right, let's get this here. So, as you probably were aware, as we have talked about many times, Judge Craig Thomas's should not be part of the ongoing cases that are coming up. If you don't know why, for some reason, you know, if you haven't heard, first of all, welcome back to planet Earth. No, I'm just kidding. How does it feel to live under a rock? No, I'm playing. He was removed. He was removed from other litigation. So obviously, he has no need to be involved with this brand new litigation in any way, shape, or form. On top of that, you may be looking at this and thinking, he doesn't need to be involved in that because of Jeremy Hale. And it's like, no, he doesn't need to be involved in that because of, well, since they use the name, I'm going to use the name. Again, they try to say that you can never use this name. But again, they made court documentation. They put it there. They opened up litigation. So the name is definitely usable. So the judge was removed because of the way that this stuff was handled because of the perception of bias. Now, when we're talking about bias, we're talking about bias toward a certain party. Obviously, if there is bias for that party, they don't need to be seeing any cases that involve that person. So 100%. Like I said, I wouldn't say this would be the first move for people, but it would definitely be right there. You'd be like, yo, they don't need anything to do with that. So of course, as expected, we have a filing for that. So Jeremy Hales moves to disqualify Circuit Court Judge Craig Thomas's pursuant to Florida Statute 38.10, which gives litigants the substantive right to request disqualification of a trial judge for bias. And it's fascinating to actually have, again, ruling to say, yeah, there has been. You know, typically, when you make a filing like this, like we've covered someone else with a case where they filed this, and were granted, by the way. They were actually granted in a Minnesota court. You know, we talked about the Recato Law stuff. One of the first moves that you saw there when this stuff came up was the request for a judge to be removed because they were covering another case involving Recato Law. And guess what? They did it, just like that. No biggie. So it'd be fascinating to see how this, you know, if they refuse to do that, that's where it will get interesting. Because I mean, really, there's plenty of reason to say yes, 100%. You do not want them handling this case. I would venture to say I wouldn't want them handling any case, but definitely not a case involving that. It's a preliminary statement here. The defendant claims that when the trial court reads the motion, the trial court will keep an open mind. Of course. Of course. Open mind? Well, of course so. Defendant prays that when the trial court reads this motion, the trial court will see this motion from the defendant's point of view, rather than the judge's own unique perspective of his ability to be fair and impartial. Now that, again, is a statement about the perception of the judge. It's fascinating because it's such a milquetoast statement, right? I mean, of course, I would hope you'd see it from my point of view, not your point of view there, but it's kind of a loaded statement because the judge has made it clear in the past how they see themselves. Even when it came to the point that an appeals court would not agree. You know, you saw what led to that. You got to remember what led to the decision. It wasn't just hey, I'm going to file something and someone steps aside. Oh, no. You had a certain protocol that you had to file. You had to ask them first, and you saw how that was fought. Oh, no, I can't do that because, well, I myself, I'm not that. And the appeals court is like, well, yeah, you know, in the process of what you had to say about all of that, you're showcasing a question of, well, maybe you should be removed because of that specific idea. So it's kind of a fascinating little statement in itself. Now, a judge should participate in establishing, maintaining, and enforcing high standards of conduct and shall personally observe those standards so that integrity and independence of the judiciary may be preserved. Let's see where this footnote. Okay, so Canon 1 of the Code of Judicial Conduct. Okay, that was the footnote. I'll try to catch footnotes. I'm not going to say I hit them all. Like this one actually is, I got so used to a certain lawyer in another trial that we were covering. they would put in so much crap in trying to get to a point that I would miss footnotes. Typically, I'd hit them at the bottom. I'd be like, where the heck is that footnote? But right there, you know, that's the way it should be. in a democratic society, one who assumes to act for the citizens in an executive, legislative, or judiciary capacity must expect that his official acts will be commented upon and criticized. Wait a minute. Why would we make statements about that? Well, because a certain judge in this did not like the idea that what they did on the bench would be commented upon or criticized. They didn't like that idea at all. And this isn't just something that goes toward Jeremy Hale, too. You got to remember, when we look at everybody so far that has had something brought against them, they have been critical of the grudge judge. I mean, again, just saying that. Hashtag grudge judge. Yeah, you follow that, you'll find a lot of videos that are hypercritical of this judge. And remember again, the whole point in people being hypercritical of that judge, it had to do with the case, sure, but it also had to do with the rights of the people in that case. We're talking about the right for speech. We're talking about the right to protect yourself. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing to see some of these decisions. And then remember, when we got along further in that, when they were talking about actual video with the court, the judge did not like the idea that he didn't get to have the final say over what came out and what was showcased to the public about that. You know, the judge did not like that at all. They wanted to be able to go in and edit their own stuff. Latin, no. No. So it's just fascinating. You know, yeah, anything that you do, it's not just going to be one party either. See, this thing is going to be much bigger than a Jeremy Hale. Again, this is a document talking about that one person. But again, these people are trying to wage lawfare against quite a few folks. And of course there will be commentary about this. Of course, someone like a DUI guy, he's also going to want to comment on this. I mean, you're talking about not just a case that they're involved in, but the prospective decisions, the actual decisions. And again, you go through his video. I wonder if I still have his videos pulled up here. Give me 1 second. I was talking about this the other day because I found it quite fascinating. You know, when you saw the name, and of course there's a reason the name's there. I mean, there is no other name to attach to this because who else is going to hear this case where it was filed or make any decisions because of it? So of course that name got attached to it. But when you start looking through, give me a second. I'm pulling his playlist here. Actually, I know where it is. I've looked at this enough that I know where the playlist actually is. Look at some of this. And again, it's not this particular filing. I'll go back to the filing in 1 second, but I want to make this point. His videos, you can see his videos where he covered this. Here's his playlist. Now, how many of them actually deal, first of all, with the judge here? Well, number 1, rogue judge comes after what the hells. So you see the descriptor right off the bat. Also look at the look at the thumbnail choice in that too. Let me blow this up so you can see them a little better. Give me 1 minute. I mean, look at the thumbnail choice. Now, what do you think the reaction will be with some of these thumbnails when I show them? How do you think do you think you might get the decisions that you should have? I mean, look at there. So you had the judge. With the judge there, too. I mean, I like the thumbnails, by the way. The judge there, though. Red nose. Clown wig. Yeah, you might be dealing with a judge that might not like that very much. Might not be happy. Also might not be happy when you look at 197,000 views that are attached to that, too. what you got to remember too, with this is a live stream. A live stream views, that is a monster number for a live stream. You remember with, how many people are here right now? There's 2,200 of you right now. That's a lot of people, right? I mean, that's live viewers watching something, okay? Even with that, you'll be talking about, while this thing is still, right when it goes off live, it'll hit somewhere between 10 to probably 15,000 views, okay? That'll be right after it comes out live with that many people, which is a great number, by the way. I appreciate all of you here. But to get to 197,000 views, now remember how many people were watching those first interviews. There were over 10,000 people that were tuned in just for the beginning. And then in the aftermath, you had a lot of people pick that up. And it wasn't just because of the discussion about Jeremy Hill or Michelle Preston or John Cook. It was about Rogue Judge. Judge in, well, see that wonderful attire. Now, if we look at these, I'd be curious about what exactly are the tags. I bet you every one of these has grudge judge attached to them too. I'll bet you. Because, in YouTube, you tag specifically so people can find the same subject. But for me, I'll attach those. I attached them this time because, that's relevant with it. So I'm sure all of those, they probably have hashtag grudge judge attached, not here, but they have them attached in associated tags, either at the hidden level, or there's 3 associated tags that you're allowed with each video that can be like hashtag findings. Then you had this. Now this was interesting. I don't remember. Let me pull this up actually, because this was quite fascinating when it happened. Let me pull this up here, because there was the discussion of who this was, what was going on with it. Listen to this here. And again, it notes, the judge. And it questions the ability to be impartial. So, listen, it's 42 seconds. So it's nothing. But here, this was thrown in there.
Thanks for calling Foreman and Associates. How may I help you?
I'm watching Larry on YouTube right now, and I know his buddy Jeremy Held loves people to phone flood. So is that what Larry also, is that how he thinks our justice system works? Mm-hmm. Should we just phone flood the courts until they can't do business anymore? Is that his legal strategy? I'm asking for a friend.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm not certain about that. Are you calling on behalf of someone who's needing legal assistance?
No, I'm going to be filing a bar complaint against Larry. So tell him to buckle up. Bye.
Okay. All right. So
is your legal strategy though? Is that to flood the courts? And Larry, I'm filing this on behalf of a friend. So Larry was like, "Oh, wait, what? Wait, what now? What is that? Are we talking about a former judge threatening me?" So you got judges. He's saying, "Well, a former judge has threatened me on behalf of a friend." What friend is that? Flooding the courts with complaints? Again, you can see why you think, maybe I wouldn't want that court to look at what is happening with me. Because, first of all, the threat itself, but also the statement. Okay, so if people were indeed calling the court, and if the court did indeed perceive that as people, quote unquote, flooding the court with calls, might they have a bias? Might they indeed? Then you have this one. Yet another one. What the hell wants to disqualify Judge C. DeThomas's for bias and prejudice? Third attempt. Now, these are from the top to the bottom. These are newest to oldest. I'm just going through. There's no particular order I want to handle. And then you can see, I'm sorry, from oldest to newest. I said there's no particular order. They may not order in, but they should be in order. I said that backwards. I was like, there's not a guaranteed particular order, but it's going from oldest to new. I said newest to oldest. I don't know why I said it that way. My brain, it shits down in cryo sleep. I watched Pitch Black the other day. I keep finding myself saying that. I'm like, my brain shuts down. I want to be like, in cryo sleep. Oh, but the animal side. Excuse me for that callback there. But anyway. They want to disqualify Judge C. Thomas for bias and prejudice. Third attempt. So they're asking again, and you look, his name right here stated. Might he have a problem with that? I don't know. You know how many hits got this one too? 189,000 hits on that. You see the thumbnail selection. Wonderful hat. I mean, I'm going to say, that is awesome attire, but maybe with that awesome attire, he still might have some type of problem with it. I know you're thinking, how would he have? He is very spiffy in that. Very spiffy. That's the word I've heard it forever, spiffy. Bring it back, baby. Bring it back, spiffy. He's very spiffy in that hat. Hey, a judge and a helicopter? Boo, sign me up. But, maybe not. Then they get even better. Like this one. Now, and to be fair on the thumbnail, there isn't, some killer attire. We're not talking about wonderful hair. We're not really talking about a lot of hair anyway. But what we are talking about is worst judge in Florida. And if you have looked up the ratings of this judge, yeah, they were pretty bad. When you go to the robing room and you check those out, I remember going there and having a little laugher with that because they were pretty funny. You got to admit some of them. Now, it's really horrible what people were alleging that they went through. But what makes it even worse is when a journalist, because that's what Larry, he may be a lawyer, but also he's been going to court. These people, they like to argue about that word, journalist. But that guy, again, he's going into the courtroom, reporting what happens. For sure, 100%. Like, how else would you define that? And going and looking up to Thomas's, he makes the statement, just a straight up statement. Like, for me, if you'll notice, like, people don't understand the reasoning for me. I don't always, like, every now and then, I won't do this. Like, if there's a matter of fact statement, I'll put an exclamation mark with something. But in most items in a title, not on a thumbnail, but in a title, I'll put a question mark and an exclamation mark because we're discussing that. Now, if there's police video or something, that'll have an exclamation mark. But this is that direct statement. And I think, we're talking about ratings here. Like, it's pretty bad. As far as ratings are concerned, it was pretty freaking bad. But when you read that, what the hell's Judge? Craig C. Thomas's, so his name is fully out there again, along with is the worst judge in Florida. #buckleup. So you have him here again. Which judicial canon did Thomas's violate? So at what the hell's Judge Craig C. Thomas's violated the judicial ethics code? Fascinating. Again, the whole point in noting this is to showcase coverage, statements. Might they have a problem because they don't, again, this shouldn't impact their ability to be fair and impartial. But let's be honest. Could this? Very much so. Have we seen things that would suggest that this judge could be biased? In any case, yes. have we seen with this particular case? Well, yes, of course. Again, with the other person that I can't find them on any thumbnails. All I see is the Ninja Turtle, you know, because obviously we have the coverage for a Ninja Turtle, so that's the only person I see above that. But yeah, there was another person they were biased for. Another one. Again, I'm wanting to make a point with this. Judge denies third motion. The judge denies it. So, Thomas's is unhinged and denies the third motion to disqualify. He himself denied it. Then he had another court be like, oh, well, you know what about that? You've got to give it. You shouldn't have done that. So, they're talking about this particular person. And again, Preston. They're talking about them aimed at another person with the verses. Because DUI guy is named in the same filing with Jeremy Hill. What the hells are done? Ask appellate courts to freeze proceedings and remove Craig C. Thomas's. Then there was the question of, hey, could he actually be sued? So they were talking about consequences for behavior. So it's not just a discussion. Here's what you need to understand in there. There was the whole, and it doesn't matter what the discussion is in the video here. Like, let's be honest. Maybe he's watched every single one of these. Maybe his ego won't allow him not to. I don't know. But I can say that they were talking about not just behavior, but for consequences of behavior. And a lot of folks that are in higher positions of authority, they don't like themselves being questioned. And they certainly don't want to hear about even the question of lawsuit or the question of any type of action about that. Because, you know, again, it says, it's absolute immunity. We get even the question. Okay, so judge loses absolute immunity. Wait. Is that attached with the civil right? Maybe that became part of the discussion of the way that came up. I'm not sure if that linked into the discussion, if that was added. I can't remember. I can't remember if that's part of I've caught most of these. I'm pretty sure I caught all of these, to be honest, because of when they happened. But then we go to here. Look, he's got his boxing gloves on. Jeremy fights the judge. So what the hell goes toe-to-toe with Judge Thomas's in the latest filing? They got him there. They got him a box. These are great thumbnails. By the way, that is a great thumbnail. I love his thumbnail guy. Like I was saying, I said this the other day. I mean, this really did happen. I liked his thumbnails enough that I asked Larry. I was like, "Who does your thumbnails?" And he told me. And I hit him up. And I mean, pricing, everything is great. Like, this dude is beyond. I want to make this very clear. He is good. He is very good. Time turnaround, everything else. Like for me, I don't decide what I'm going to do sometimes until I do it. Like when I talk about it, I don't pre-plan videos. They just happen. I'm like, maybe I'll pre-plan something a day or so, but that doesn't happen very often. This guy, though, like he said at the beginning, he was like, hey, you got to give me a little bit of time for turnaround. I was like, okay. And then I was hitting him up and being like, yo, can you do this really quickly? And he did. He was good, and they looked great. But here was the problem. My thumbnails are so shitty, and people are so used to that being mine, that they were like, who's this guy? When's Umbrella going to make a video? And that speaks to how good he is. I was like, damn. So it was a return because it was damn well professional. If you start a channel like this, would be the guy. Like, I would definitely hit him up. If you could afford to start off, or you're starting to get a little bit of attraction and you want to take it to that next level, this is a guy there. But it's just funny. Like, I'd done videos long enough with, you know, you see the live stream, you can look at the regular videos. You know, you had 4 words you can see from space in an image. That's my way. A specific font that I like. You know, I mean, I make them on like a little app called Brace Yourself for this. Just brace yourself. Thumbnail Baker. I know when you think, that's a professional outlet. You're right. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I have it on my phone. I don't even have it on my freaking desktop when I'm making them. Do you see? Here's another one. What the hell is a stalker for at least $450,000 in federal court? No more petty games. You see him right there. Again. You see, this one might just be the one that he doesn't like. You remember the tanning bed discussion? You know, where Judge Thomas's, before he was a judge, decided that he would go on record defending a guy that photographed a woman in a tanning salon. You know, because of his, what was it? Because of his anxiety? Yeah, it's like, wait, what? So yeah, reading this one, Thomas's peeping Tom buddy. Look at him there. He looks like he's bird watching with him. Dude's got his freaking camera. He got Thomas's in the back. Judge Thomas's likes to defend perverts. That's the title there. So you might think, yeah, maybe that's the one. I mean, again, worst judge, likes to defend perverts. You know, so of course he might not like you there. Judge Thomas's goes off on Jeremy. On him again with Megan Fox there. You see, again, Judge Thomas's here. Better buckle up. He's not on the front there, but, you know, up. Wants to win this. A Florida law. Let's see. And you have, again, you can see, do not dismiss this case, Judge. You have any notations of a judge. I don't even know if they have to be about she cheated the system. And then the bias judge is ordered to be removed by the court. So that's how this, I believe all of those probably were in order. Like I said, he runs a pretty professional outlet. Like when I put my stuff in order, like you notice my, okay, let's go back to the filing. When I put my stuff in a playlist, so like it's all over. So I'm terrible. I haven't updated a playlist in forever. Oh, man. Okay, here we go. So, basis of this motion. The First District Court of Appeals has only 16 days ago, issued an extraordinary writ, specifically a writ of prohibition against this judge, finding that he was not impartial in the case that we've been talking about. Now again, drink that statement in there. So just 16 freaking days ago, you have an appeals court step in. And their decision, they make it very clear within their decision what they've thought about defending, again, multiple times, not stepping down, which is fascinating. We covered that. You know, there was a live stream. Jeremy had a live stream where he was at a storage unit, discussed all of that. You see all the pressure, all the money that had to go into it just to be right here again. Isn't that crazy too? That also makes you question, you know. You've also got to think this too. Here's you were talking about the Sun videos that have been coming up. What do you think happens if Jeremy and other people lose this. Do you think all those folks that are using his image or talking about him, do you think they're computing for even a second that this would give them a basis to go after them? You know, when someone asks for a video to be removed and it's being utilized to discuss the person again that you're trying to hammer down and to say, well, you can't talk about this other person. Do you think maybe the reversal of that, maybe, just maybe, that'd be the stupidest fucking decision of your life? Because, you know, when you turn that around, how might that play for them? Because they like to talk about that particular person. They like to utilize them in their thumbnails. They like to bring up all this stuff. Talking about, again, everything they said that they totally, perfectly are against. Well, they dropped that like a like a bad habit, didn't they? I mean, it was like in a cocaine heartbeat, baby. Bam! You know, and stuff. It was like, we'll do all that stuff. Isn't it fascinating? Again, the very case be used against them. But 16 days ago, which is a case involving the same plaintiff and myself and my same attorneys in this matter, a copy of writ of prohibition against Judge C. Thomas's being attached here too. You know, and again, you know, writs, extraordinary orders, by which a court exercises unusual or discretionary power. And indeed, I mean, indeed, that is very much true. That's exactly what happened. I think including not just same person with Jeremy Hales, but the same plaintiff. The writ of prohibition against Judge Thomas's was issued August 7th, 2024. Was not final until today, the date of the filing on this, at 12:01 a.m. In the specific case here, on February the 28th, 2024, 2 days before the actual petition, writ of prohibition, was even written, Judge Thomas's commented on record as to whether or not the still unwritten petition would be successful on the merits by stating, quote, obviously, I don't think it's going to come to fruition. From the position of the defendant, this statement was mind-boggling. Yeah, indeed. He commented on not only something that was ongoing, had not been decided, questioning him and his ability to be impartial, but I don't think so. It says, now that the fruit has been produced and Judge Thomas's has been proven wrong, the defendant fears that Judge Thomas's will seek retribution against him if he is allowed to be a judge in this case. Indeed, I would say 100%. I always like, too, the detractors. Suddenly the judicial system, you notice, this is another thing that kills me. Suddenly, systems that, I'm not saying the entire system is broken, but systems that definitely have issues. Certain people that definitely have issues in them. You notice, suddenly these systems, they become unquestionable. No, they wouldn't do that. Judges would never do that. Police would never do that. You know, they go down this list, obviously. And it's like, are you kidding me? Here's one of the things that you have to remember about the folks. They don't give up being a person with all of their flaws. I would say with all of our flaws, because all of us are capable of being vindictive at a point. You know, if somebody went in and you had the ability to go in and to seek retribution like that in that position of prominence, would you? Maybe not, but you would have that ability, possibly at least consider it. You'd have to fight against that. You have to appeal to your better nature. But I like how, and all of us should be able to at least perceive that, no matter who is out there. I would say the same thing, by the way, if there was a disqualification and this were reversed. If you had, in some weird world, you had Jeremy on one side, you had Preston on the other, and this were reversed, it'd be the same argument. It would be a sound legal argument. And of course, there would be all types of people that think that this wouldn't be a problem. They would suddenly think that this was a problem there. I mean, you want things decided on their merit. Regardless of who's in there, you want it decided on merit. So in issuing the writ against Judge Thomas's, the First District Court said, 1, Judge Thomas's should have recused himself on one or more of the Hale's motions to disqualify. Yes, they indeed made that very clear. Number 2, Hale's quote-unquote demonstrated a significant basis for disqualification. They cite state verses, so they actually know where that comes from. Explaining again, so this statement right here, if you were like, hey, I recognize the footnote, whoops, going the wrong way. If you actually recognize this footnote, where did that come from? That's exactly where it came from. I'm going to have a kid coming in just a second. Let's see. Yes. I heard the door. Just a second. I had to stop. Explaining that the common law writ of prohibition is an extraordinary judicial writ which may be issued by this court, quote, to restrain the unlawful exercise of judicial functions when no other adequate remedy is afforded by law. Yes, ma'am. Hey, here, I fixed this. Go take it upstairs. I've got it fixed for you.
How did you do that?
I folded it a specific way. I told you I'd work on it for you.
How did you fold it?
I had to work on it. It was a lot of work, but I fixed it for you.
How did you do that, though?
I'll show you. I folded it a specific way. You keep it that way. Don't fold it back up, okay?
I'll be careful. I'll be careful this time. How did you fold it up?
Well, I'll show you. I'll show you how I did it after the live stream, okay? I'll show you because it'll take me a little while to show you exactly how I did it. Okay?
Thank you for opening that bubble gum. I
Yes,
just
ma'am.
need to fix my shoe because they keep falling off.
All right. There you go. There you go. There you go. You want that back? All right. Take it upstairs, man.
Dad, love you.
I love you too. You take it. You'll have fun with it.
1 second.
Okay.
I'm on my carpet.
Yeah. Of course, we don't do that, do we? We don't get gum in our carpet or on our beds or on the couch or anything because you were smart and we're a big girl. You were so good at that. You are very good. I'm proud of you.
I think this washing.
Oh.
Just go flip it over like this. So.
Okay. All right. Well, take it upstairs with you. Play with it. Go have fun with it. You can roll it around and put a stuffy on it or something. Hey, close that door for me again, okay? I know you do. And also, we go with the, see, this is why certain behavior will bother me. You can positively reinforce something. If something's ever happened, or if it hasn't happened, you can positively reinforce behavior by, instead of being like, don't you get gum on something, you can be like, yeah, we don't do that. And you've done a great job. You are so good at that. You are so smart with that. You positively reinforce. You can go with negative reinforcement and be like, oh, you remember that time, blah, blah, blah. Or you can positively reinforce. I hate it when I see just people, I'm not saying that in the moment you don't bring up what's happened, but in the future you positively reinforce good behavior. Because otherwise, a child will only respond with negative behavior. You know, because they like attention. They like it from the people that they care about. And if they only get negatives, then they will respond negatively. So always give positive attention. I'm amazed. It's such a basic human behavior tool. It's just something that applies to all of us, right? We do better with if somebody was leaning over you and yelling at you and saying all kinds of terrible things versus, you know, some positive accolades, whether it's work, home, whatever. But we see failures. Specifically, we've seen a lot of those and discussed a lot of those. So, and also, here's another case. Describing that it is appropriate for a court to issue the writ prohibition in emergency cases to forestall an impending present injury. And, number 3, once a basis for disqualification has been established, prohibition is both an appropriate and necessary remedy. And yes, this right here, a decision like this being handed down, 100%, that should have been automatically something that was attached. Automatically. The court, the first district issued the extraordinary means of prohibiting a trial court judge from continuing in a case without even knowing that Craig C. Thomases conducted not 1, not 2, but 3 ex parte proceedings. These 3 ex parte proceedings were concealed by the trial court from all the parties. Like, that's crazy when you think about it. Not just that they happened, but they were concealed. So again, this decision, the first district, they went about making this order without even knowing that that transpired. Without knowing that these things, they had been concealed, again, from the parties. The parties that, well, should they know about that? Indeed. This was because there were many opportunities for the trial court to have told all parties about the 3 ex parte proceedings within the case, yet that never happened. Judge Thomases and Miss Preston kept it all to themselves. Let's look at the footnote. At the start of every hearing, with all parties present in the case, Judge Thomases would begin with a rather lengthy explanation of the quote-unquote status of the record, beginning with the first filing by Mrs. Preston in the September 2023, but never mentioning at all anything about these 3 ex parte proceedings in which over 20 minutes of exchanges occurred between himself and Miss Preston. And some of that stuff is crazy. When you listen to the statements in it, they are wild. Like when I went through and listened to some of the, not just the accusations that were being levied. Okay, the accusations themselves, they would have been inappropriate at that time. But the responses, the fact that you had a judge telling a party how exactly they should proceed. Not in, hey, you should proceed like with the next, this next time we go to court, but how to proceed, i.e. legal advice. It was so crazy to go back and look at. These are only recently obtained, just to see if anything else was not provided to the parties. These videos show that during the 3 ex parte proceedings, documents were submitted by Miss Preston to the judge for his review, which he did review, and that indeed did happen. He did look through them. At first, what was amazing is he's saying essentially, I can't do that. And he does it anyway. He does this anyway. Like, it blew my mind. When we talked about all that stuff, it blew my mind, some of the stuff that we were saying. And this is what I mean about looking at at some of the stuff that we saw happen and then putting it in its right context. You know, sometimes I say, well, maybe we should review X, Y, or Z to really understand the implication that it had, to really understand how inappropriate it was. Because at the time, you understood it was inappropriate. I understood it was inappropriate, but still, the level of it, when you have an appeals court that comes in and they agree with what you're saying there, that is mind-blowing. Requests for affirmative relief were made by Ms. Preston. Legal advice was given to Ms. Preston by Judge DeThomasis. Additional information about the case was provided to Judge DeThomasis by Ms. Preston. And Judge DeThomasis told her, this was a big one to me, I thought, that he knew that the defendant in the case was a YouTuber. Yes, indeed. You know, he already had some type of opinion that he had formulated about that. Now, I don't feel like I'm going out on a limb to say that perhaps that opinion, and maybe that's based on the person. Again, the person themselves. This is something that a lot of people, they can't seem to grasp. You can like or dislike a person, but in the court of law, there's a specific way that's supposed to play out. Evidence is supposed to will out. Them being a YouTuber, like I said, that may be the issue itself. Maybe they don't respect YouTubers. Maybe they don't respect a specific, whatever the reason, it doesn't matter. Like when you look at all of that, and you look at it combined, it does very much feel like, yes, there was already some specific opinion that was formulated, especially when you look at how he handled a lot of stuff that, if he's handling other cases the same way, that is bad news. Very bad news. If he's handling one specific case and he was doing that, that's also bad news. You know? I mean, either way. If he has been turning his courtroom into a school ground and talking about other, like I said, cases, admonishing people, like that stuff's bad enough. But him to do it with, we haven't even gotten to the point where Jeremy Hale is in the courtroom where they should be talking about any quote unquote evidence. And many of this stuff too, you know, we're talking about like transcripts, for example. Now, these transcripts, you know where they came from. Like when she was talking about, I have YouTube transcripts. Where do YouTube transcripts come from? Well, YouTube has a function where they will apply transcripts. Their transcripts read like their subtitles. Now, I don't know about you, but when you go through, depending on speech patterns, his do better than a lot of people. Like for me, my speech patterns and everything else, they throw off the subtitles so badly sometimes. It is amazing. But with anybody, I mean, even a 96% on transcript is not close enough. Because some of the key things that could be changed, if you're talking about, again, in a court, that could change them up big time. So see Canon 1 for the Code of Judicial Conduct. An independent and honorable judiciary is indispensable to justice in our society. A judge should participate in establishing, maintaining, and enforcing high standards of conduct and shall personally observe those standards so that integrity and independence of the judiciary may be preserved. The provisions of this code shall be construed and applied to further that objective. Again, indeed. A judge's neutrality should be such that even the defendant will feel that the trial was fair. Yeah, you may think that a judge makes terrible decisions in something, but were they trying to be impartial? Like that, there's the thing too. Were they indeed? No judge has been disqualified in this case, and judicial neutrality is critical to our legal system. Whether a motion to disqualify a trial judge is legally sufficient requires a determination as to whether the alleged facts would create in a reasonably prudent person a well-grounded fear of not receiving a fair and impartial trial. Now you go by that, like listen to that statement there, and you tell me if he were over this case with all these folks, not just Jeremy Hill, but DUI guy, everyone else, do you feel that, quote, a reasonably prudent person, they would feel that they were going to get a fair or impartial trial? I would say absolutely not, especially when you had that decision come in. No way. So wherefore, again, having met the requirements for bringing the motion, respectfully request Judge C. Craig Thomas's or C. Thomas's disqualifying himself from proceeding further in this case, or I'm sorry, in this cause, my bad, cause, and that another judge be assigned to the case, together with any further relief this court deems just and equitable. Let me see what else is attached here. Give me 1 second. Shock it. We have our certificate. We have our attachments. So we have everything that's attached to this. Okay, so you can see the document itself, how that goes. Now I want to show you something else today too. Let me make sure that these come in the order that I want them to be looked at. So give me 1 second here, okay? I mean, some of this stuff, man. All right, so I was talking about Veteran Nation here. And the Veteran Nation stuff, just give me 1 minute. I'm picking up. There's a few of these. Oh, Lord. Some of these are nuts. You ever look at some of these and think, that is so crazy. When I read, for example, it's been fascinating because you have Veteran Nation saying over and over again that, let me see, 1 second. God, there's a bunch of these. And this thing does not want to download correctly. I may have to read these out of the freaking email. I hate that. I hate not putting them on the screen here. Like I said, some of these clips, you have Bruce. Let me get this one right here, right off the bat. Okay, I want to start with this one. I like this one. I may have to do them separately, so just give me a second on that. I should have downloaded these beforehand, but I got laughing about some of these. Look at this here. Here we go. This is what I was talking about when I started the live stream. Again, Veteran Nation, very much. So if you don't know what happened with Veteran Nation, by the way, Veteran Nation was running a live stream. And within Veteran Nation live stream, they had Bruce, who, well, he is definitely a mouthpiece for Michelle Preston. Come on, while a CPS call was transpiring. Now, I went over the entirety of that. I went over it, like I said, because I wanted to capture that entire conversation, showcase what was happening, and I also wanted to show you that, in my opinion, I didn't think that was good faith. You know, oh, let me on. Okay, so you let him on. They have a... I'm going to say a not very conducive conversation, but at least he's given a platform to talk about whatever. And then the next day, we find out that he has been taking aim at the channel here and trying to shut it down. Not only that, but he admits that he's going to YouTube legal, and he is doing his best to try to shut down not just this channel, but also what the hells. He has been going out of his way to shut down the what the hells channel. Oh, they are very well knowledgeable about that. He's telling us straight up. He makes it very clear in that paper alone what the intended purpose was. It wasn't just to knock out Veteran Nation. It was to knock out what the hells. So you see this wonderful exchange here. I like this one. Why are you so intent on defaming me and Veteran Nation? My friend, says Bruce, you should learn when and how to eat shit. Sometimes eating shit can set you free. And like I said, it may set you free of your mortal coils because, yeah, if you develop that habit, gross. I don't even know how to play that out. Ugh, gross. I mean, you see the exchange. You know, and finally, you have a Veteran Nation get tired of this. I'd be like, yo, leave me the fuck alone. And guess what? I'm going to, spoiler warning, he doesn't. He's like, Bruce, here, I'll help you. The only people playing content of others are the rumor podcasts you go on. I create my own content because I'm not a leech. You know, I look forward to your letter to YouTube Legal correcting the public lies you're maliciously spreading as you attempt to damage to me, my foundation, and to others. Okay, so let's continue going forward with that one. Give me a second. I need to get the others. God, there's a bunch of these. It's just so bizarre. Plus, there was apparently an accusation of swatting. Like, I didn't even see the accusation of swatting that came up. That'll bring up Madam Mayor, because how can you miss out on time to bring up Madam Mayor? So here's yet another one. Give me 1 minute here. Gotta make sure I lock onto the right ones each time. Again, I'm bringing them up. There we go. Plus, pushing that I'm swatting is provably false. Tried to get my channel shut down. Damages myself, the foundations, and others not named, who are not public. Swatting. So they called this CPS report swatting. Which is quite fascinating there, you know. And I did not see the accusation saying that is swatting, but so they implying that that anyone that is called CPS, they were trying to swat. And again, at first when I saw what they were trying to say, I thought they would try to go after Veteran Nation, but my first thought in this was that they're going to try to say that Jeremy Hales, he's the reason that he's inciting, you know, that would be what we would see pop up in some type of a litigation. And it's fascinating because it wasn't even, that's why I mentioned the fact that I believe that if Madam Mayor has not received, and I have no, I'll ask her about it if she wants it. I mean, she's supposed to come on Wednesday. Unless something changes, she's supposed to come on Wednesday. Which, again, that'll be an interesting conversation. Well, I'll ask her if she's received any kind of paperwork from this person. I'm not sure that she has or has not, but it'll be interesting. But Mike notes, you know, if it comes up, I will. Like I told you, I only mention your client if the audience brings it up. So, you know, this is about the whole idea of covering, period. I only cover stuff that is attached to your client if the audience actually says something about it. And understand that. Like if there's discussion within the chat, somebody asks a question, especially if there's a super chat, I try not to ever dance around something. I'm telling you, if I need more days to determine an idea on what I don't always know what I think about something in the moment. You know, everybody, in fact, I think that's, I'm not saying we don't formulate an opinion based on something. But sometimes it does take days to formulate an opinion on something. We speak with anger and emotion sometimes. And I think a lot of people are dishonest in doing that. You know, not all the time. Again, I do react within the moment sometimes. But if like again, not talking about this specific thing, talking about anything. You know, like he says, if the chat or the audience, they bring something up. Yes, indeed. You go over that. But if you mean you rebroadcast the Mayor Granger video, that's immaterial to the subject of the letter, which is your stunt of making a CPS report live on stream. Again, he's like, oh, that's factually wrong. Wow. Why are you so intent on defaming me, buddy? And I like the fact that the word defame keeps coming up, because again, this is something that we've seen coming up over and over again. It's fascinating too. He told him, you know, I pasted 3 of your statements above from my letter. You refuse to say which is a lie. This is Bruce. If it's only about whether you played the invasion footage. So apparently this is good. Like, I need this one right here. He's calling the moving of Lloyd invasion footage. It's the invasion footage. Get that invasion on, you know. First there was Normandy. Now there's this saga at Otter Creek. The invasion footage. I like it. Give me a minute here. Actually, I like this one here. I want to pull this one up for you. The invasion footage. Check that. Check that out. That's what it says. Like I'm not misquoting that in any way, shape, or form. I pasted 3 statements above from my letter. You refuse to say which is a lie. If it's only about whether you played the invasion footage on the stream, that's immaterial. If you played the invasion footage, again, remember the footage that's being referred to here. That is the footage that is on Madam Mayor's channel, where she and others, they go with a police officer to remove Lloyd's material from the property. Now, during that, they, of course, they record. And in fact, I am... I'm actually surprised that that Michelle Preston did not record throughout that. Like, if it were me, I would have recorded for sure. 100%. I would have, you know. I would have made sure, like, if it were me, and there were people there, if I perceived this in some kind of legal wrong, I'd have made sure I got everything on recording. But we get her talking to John, who John at the time was a guest of the state. And we get her arguing with deputies and all kinds of other stuff. But we don't have that just specifically focused on. A lot of the focus there is on property that belongs to Lloyd. That's where you're, you know, when you see the footage of the exchanges with the officer and Michelle Preston. She's dragging items of Lloyd's right out on the ground, and everything's poof. And also with the retrieval of said items too. See, I would want stuff like that especially recorded, because I would not want an accusation of one of us, if I were there moving things. I would not want anyone stating that I had entered a building or God knows what. I mean, we've seen all types of accusations. So I definitely wouldn't want that, or that I had taken something that I wasn't supposed to. You get everything that you can. You get it recorded, again, for not one party's safety, but for all parties' safety. And that would include her. But I find it fascinating, again, that that's not going and retrieving Lloyd's property. It's an invasion. Some free legal advice. Stop making what you did worse by trying to defend it so vociferously. Some free legal advice. Here's your free legal advice, Veteran Nation. Stop trying to defend yourself and what you did. Stop talking about wow. And again, I thought it was fascinating because the discussion about that on live stream became about 2 words: illegal adoption. And then become about, again, environmental abuse, or however somebody would have brought it up. There were really no statements that were added about, there were some like, how do you know that they're not trying to remedy or correct lice and fleas? How do you know that? I did find it fascinating, not that, again, they want to lock them down on statements, but, how do you know that? Like, that felt like I realized they weren't trying to go with an acknowledgement that does exist. But that seemed like an acknowledgement that does exist. Well, how do you know that isn't, they're not trying to remedy that issue? Like I said, what are the easiest ways to, again, this somebody in that chat, and I want to credit you, but I don't remember who you were, so I apologize for that. But somebody made a great point, and I keep going back to this. The people, especially people that have gone to that property, could you imagine 5 people, of course, with permission, that are supporters of Michelle Preston, what they could do on that property? So they take a day or 2 days, they gather up all the refuse and the garbage that's there, and then 100% overhaul, or they pick up the broken swimming pool. They remove the garbage. Maybe they fill in some of those holes that are around there. Maybe they set up a place where you can get rid of wastewater and foulness and, some way that's beyond question. Like setting up, something that, again, is safe for people, for animals. You also don't end up with that, with just your property, period. I mean, just imagine if folks spent their time and did that. I thought that was the best piece of advice for, but again, that's not happening. Why? Because rather sit around and beat on the table and be like, oh my God, prove that environment is just, it's tragic. Okay? There's no need for a busted up ass swimming pool with jagged edges to be around. And if it's there, and again, for whatever reason, let's just say, oops, can't remove it. Okay, well, somebody else get in there and remove the foul water. Help it out. That'd be such a nice thing. There'd be no question about it. Now, there'd be a question about other things that came up. Again, John Cook is a giant one. Giant red flag. But at least the environmental stuff, get rid of that. They keep saying they can't afford to do things, too. She's indigent. She has no money to do anything. So, okay, go volunteer time, again, with her permission or consent, bam, get all that over with. But it's so much easier to just sit there, And he's like, hey, yo, Let me alone. Fuck off. He was telling him, fuck off. That's amazing. That's why, like, again, why won't you let me on your shows? And because it's not good faith. Like, none of it is good faith. Give me a second. Oh, here's another one. God, that's long. If I get these out of order, that is my bad. I'm downloading them in, so it doesn't matter. I'm not aiming for an order. I'm not aiming for a detailed conversation, as it were. I'm just talking about some of this exchange here. It's amazing too. All right, here's a couple more too. Give me 1 minute. I got 3 of them here. Okay, here we go. Finally, took me a minute. I was like, I'm going to download them, but I want them noted as something. I like some of the exchanges too. Like I said, they're just kind of, I don't know, they're kind of funny to watch. And I hate it for, like, Veteran Nation is trying to have a good faith conversation. Here's the thing, bud. Like, you're not having a good faith exchange. Like, that's not going to happen. That's just not. Like, oh my God, man. Can you not read? Never watched anyone else's video in a stream? That's your rumor podcast friend who's stealing content on me. Expect a letter to YouTube. Legal, retracting your false accusation. So you didn't play any of the video from the RV rescue mission? Wait, I thought it was an invasion. Now it's a rescue mission? We've gone from Normandy and, you know, we've gone from it sounds like a special ops. Let's get in there and we're going to rescue that. Madam Mayor, would you accept this special mission? I know that there are dangers, but would you and the others that are there, would you accept that from General Jeremy? It's like, what the fuck is going on? If not, then saying you called CPS after rebroadcasting video, that was incorrect. I guess you watched the video before your stream and just talked about it. So wait a minute. Wait a minute. You mean the accusations that you've been making toward him involving YouTube legal? Those accusations? I'm sure if there's been follow-up, like I'm sure all of this has come into the conversation, right? You're going to tell me that some of that's not factually correct? I thought we were sticklers for factually correct stuff. Again, they flipped their shit about thinking that illegal adoption, those 2 words were brought up because factually correct. Okay. So in the same manner, accusations that are being made about reviewing and doing, you know, the incitement essentially, that wasn't correct. Wonder what else isn't correct. Oh, interesting. In any event, as I explained, whose videos you saw, or even whether you played it on your stream, is completely beside the point of my letter to YouTube, which was your PR stunt of calling CPS based on whatever video you saw. This is why I said straight up, there's a few reasons as a YouTuber, I know not to let my emotion get the better of me like that, and to do something like that live, because people like this, let's just say when they're dumping lawsuits, they're probably going to try to hit you too. This is why I said I wouldn't do that. You know, you let your emotion get the better of you, and you did it right in the moment. And of course they're going to weaponize that. Of course they are. Now again, you doing this good faith, it doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. But here's the thing, with frivolous litigation, you don't have to have the truth on your side. You have to go through and expend money and time, finite resource, especially time. Time is that when the money thing irritates me, but the time thing, I would rather watch paint dry than fuck around with some of these morons. But I mean, like I said, if they want to comment on stuff, they're welcome to it. Have fun with it. Make money. Get your cheddar, baby. But if they want to they want to pocket watch and go after people like DUI guy because they're all pissy because of thumbnails, or they want to go after this person there, again, it's not that you are correct. It's not that you have the law on your side. Again, it has a cost. Like, where am I going to recover funds? People keep saying, again, that response to that is, you can recover money. Well, where am I going to recover it from? The person that's claiming indigence? Where am I going to get that money from? You going to slice up their property? You give me a piece of Otter Creek? I mean, what's this going to do? You too, Doug, can have this refrigerator that's right here. Oh wait, that may not even be theirs. Sorry. Again, there are many ways that I would like to spend my time, and that would not be one of them. And that just opens the door for the stupid. And it made it, if you're going to do it, again, the reaction with emotion, I understand why it happens. Because people get very pissed off in that. And they think, my God, how can this be going on? And they kept bringing up the 23 visits too. When people see that makes people react emotionally too. It does. Like, that's the thing that won't be discussed. That people see that and they're like, oh my God, man, I see this thing. This thing obviously looks like one heck of a problem to me. So therefore, let's see, there's another one of these. Give me a second. Over and over again, you can see, just to make this clear, like what I find fascinating is over and over again, Veteran Nation is like, leave me alone. Why don't you leave me alone? No, you're spreading lies about me, trying to do me damage. You don't even know what happened in the live stream you were in. That's very true too. Like, it made it very clear. Well, I was wrong about what happened in that. Okay, well, that doesn't really matter. What I've been saying about that doesn't really matter. It's like, don't communicate with me further unless it includes a retraction of your malicious lies in a letter to YouTube Legal. Good day, sir. I think there's more. Give me a minute. God, that's so crazy. I have a general rule that I try to stick to, by the way. And that general rule is this. I try not to get into arguments with people that also waste my day and my time. Like this argument right here. I try not to have over 3 back and forth. 1 minute, let me see. I keep thinking there was one other one that was good. There's arguments with other people too. Like Bruce was like, he's saying, well, he also propagated the false claim that Michelle Preston is a quote-unquote legal guardian of the child. Oh, wait, so we dropped this is good. Let me download this one. So it's fascinating that now he propagated that she was the legal guardian. Not that... He also says that he would write YouTube legal and make retractions if it comes up, which I thought is fascinating. He's like, well, yeah, sure, I would retract some of that if it comes up, if I find the time to do it. Oh my God. And let's see, there's one. There, like I say, I'm picking the ones I want real fast. That's where the oh my God, again, these have been shown, not in any real specific order, because you'll notice that they go back and forth into the conversation. Like you'll see there's 49. There's this giant freaking conversation that's going on, and it's a lot of madness. But the point is, think about the person again. One day I was promoting a comic book, okay, and I spent my day making, I think it was 70 something Twitter posts, and that includes things like thanking people. Okay, hey, thank you for backing. Just simple stuff. And you know what it felt like? It felt like I wasted my entire day, not with thank yous and stuff, just being on Twitter. It felt like this enormous time suck. It had a point, but just being around all of that all day long felt like it sucked up my whole day. I cannot imagine spending that much time around just social media, like just commentary. And it's not, and you have to say, what's the furtherance of what goal? I'd like to know about any kind of monetary considerations that come up in the aftermath, if, say, there is a win in a case. I'd like to know a little bit about that. So, yeah, discussions. And then he's also propagating the false claim that Michelle Preston is a quote-unquote legal guardian of the child. 1 second. We'll look something up. Now, it's funny because in courts versus, so if we're wanting to argue the semantics of of law versus, as a parent, let's just say, I'm going to ask AI, okay? Is a parent a legal guardian? And AI would be like, in most jurisdictions, parents are the natural guardians of their minor children and are considered legal guardians until the child turns 18. As legal guardians, parents have the right to make decisions about da-da-da-da-da. Now, however, a court may appoint a guardian other than parents. So, is a parent a legal guardian? Let me ask you, Chad, is a parent a legal guardian? If you're saying that someone went in and they adopted someone, does that make them their legal guardian? I'm just giving it a second because the chat has to catch up here. Yes, indeed. That is their legal guardian. So are we talking about the same thing? As for my kids, I have 2 kids. I am their legal guardian. I make all decisions for them. As far as going out, like anything from school, activities, what's safe, they should be involved in. And I'm also answerable. I'm their legal guardian. So it's just fascinating that there's this argument by quote-unquote implication. It's become now this strange thing. I feel like I'm in some kind of parallel world here, I guess, where it's a person on a show. They use the word legal guardian. And they're like, they're not a legal guardian. They're implying she's not an actual parent. Are you saying that a person that's given legal guardianship, they're not parents then? That's a horrible thought, isn't it? You're saying that piece of paper, they can't be parents? That's terrible. I'm not saying all legal guardians are parents. I'm saying that a parent is a legal guardian. It's just such a strange, the implication there, again, by implication, she's not an actual parent. She's not a biological parent. I mean, if we're going to take any implication from that, could that be the implication? Because if you're talking about an adoption in that, then they are not the biological parent versus the quote-unquote actual parent. So, I mean, if you want to get into that, what is the word actual? I mean, if we want to wax poetic, we want to get down into the semantic nitty-gritty of all this. What does actual mean? I'm just curious about that. Because if the implication is that they are not the biological parent, would that be correct? Anyway, when the adoption documents have been published a week ago on several channels. It was... He asked, by the way, multiple times in that live stream for these documents to be sent over. And again, this whole thing gets derailed by these words here. And I believe that's by design. Because you're no longer talking about the potential for environmental abuse. Now it's become about, oh my God, did you imply she's not an actual parent? It's like, holy shit. I saw two people arguing on YouTube or on Twitter one time about the love for tacos. And this shows you how, like, again, just shows you how people get into that. This one person was like, you know what? I really love tacos. I just love them. And another person came back and they were like, you're not going to give the toppings, you're not going to give the stuff inside of that credit, like cheese. It's like, what? What does that mean? It just shows you how shit goes. It's so nuts. And this would be just funny. This would be just a funny aside. But ultimately, again, remember, this is a person that's trying to take down this man's channel, has threatened consequences against the man. Oh man, it makes my head hurt. It does. I think I feel brain cells screaming to reject this. I sent them to him. So it says, so he'd explain he was incorrect and inform his audience she is the child's legal parent from a legal adoption at birth without republishing the documents. Wait a minute, but you already republished the documents, didn't you, Bruce? Didn't you just say the documents are all over the fucking internet? So he can't republish it? What the fuck are you talking about, Bruce? So you put some weird caveat on that he can't republish them, but all these other channels can? What does that even mean? Are you fucking kidding me? So he's supposed to go in and talk about this stuff, but he's not supposed to republish those documents that you showed somewhere else. Again, in the same statement. They've been published a week ago on several channels, but don't you republish those because we'll sue you. Motherfucker, man. You are so fucking stupid. God, these people. Okay, give me a minute. I'm like, relight my cigar. It frustrated me for a second. I apologize. I got emotional for a minute. See, this is why, you see, there was a little emotion in there, right? And that emotion, that's why I don't pick up the phone and call a place while I'm live, because I don't want to react in my emotion. So excuse me. Excuse my colorful wording. I got a little worked up there for a second. It's so fucking bizarre and bad faith. They're like, sort through 9 hours of these streams and find it. And Veteran Nation was like, I don't want to do that, man. Like, I'm not going to sort through. I don't go to that channel. I'm not going to watch 9 hours of fucking footage there. And that's one live stream. I mean, if it's in a week, I'm just, best case scenario, what? We're talking 5 hours a day, averaged. Best case scenario, my Lord. We're talking 35 hours of content to find these documents. Well, worst case scenario is that I'm trusting Bruce or anyone else for them to actually be there. And he's like, no. You don't got to do that. I'm going to send them to you, but you can't republish them. It's like, what the fuck is this, man? Oh, Lord. Anyway. Let's see. So now you have your proof. Make sure to update your info on your next stream. I'd have told him, you know what? Make sure when you're eating that poop that you like to eat so much that you go, you make sure that you just go over in the corner. Don't choke on it. I wouldn't wish any ill will on anyone. You go over in the corner, you eat your own poopy that you enjoy eating so much. You talk about eating shit, go in the corner. You eat it. Because I'm not going to update anything. Why would I update any fucking thing for this dude? He already tried to take the channel down. Why would you do that? And what does it matter? Ultimately, at the end of the day, what does it fucking matter? Like, again, he didn't use the words illegal adoption in his argument anymore. He's now stuck on legal guardian. Okay, well, if they concede that he was talking about legal guardianship, it's all good, right? We're all happy. But he was like, yo, you know what? If it comes up, I will. Like I told you, I only mention your client if the audience brings them up. Fair enough. I think that's fair. See, to double down, he's like, when I was telling you that she was the child's mother, you repeatedly challenged it. By using the term, now he challenged that by using the term legal guardian. You were denying that she was the mother. You know this, and so does everyone who watched. Like I said, we know he could have very well meant birth parent. She adopted. Like I said, we already got into the legal guardianship. Never denied it. Never denied anything. I said I've never seen proof of that. That's true. Calling her a legal guardian was and is factual. Was and is factual. And you also wrote, again, and claimed that I rebroadcasted Jeremy Hill's video, which we saw where that, how that comes in. I think there's one more. Give me 1 second. And I think there's one thing that's off of something else, too. I mean, again, like this argument just keeps going. And I mean, it's an attempt to gaslight poor freaking Veterans Nation. Veteran Nation, here's another thing that I would say for Veteran Nation or any YouTuber, anyone else out there, you can't argue with a stone. Have you ever gone outside and argued with a rock? Did it start agreeing with you? Have you? Have you ever argued with a brick wall or a tree? or the sky? Did it suddenly agree with you? If it did, let me know about that, because you probably need some mental health help. Yes, that rock started to agree with me, Tug. It said we should go out, and I carry it around in my pocket. And it likes me to hurl it at people that it doesn't like and I don't like. Okay, yeah, you probably need some medication for that. Let's just say. But most of us would agree, you can't argue with a stone. And that's the same thing with people. If a person is unflinching and they want to say that you did something, they're never going to. They're never going to agree with that. It's just amazing. Because I asked, how is calling her a legal guardian false? You were falsely challenging that she's the child's mother. Again, it's arguing with a rock. So apparently, from what I understand, there was blocking that became involved. It was like, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to block. We're going to get this done. No more of this crap. Give me 1 second here. And, it was told, like, this is harassment. You got to stop contacting me. You saw how many times that was brought up. Like, leave me alone. And it's just fascinating, considering, again, on that side of things, Bruce is complaining about harassment and all of these other items, and yet, when he has somebody telling him, yo, fuck off, I'm not talking to you. And remember, like I said, we've looked at this, but I'm going to look at this real quick just to add it to the end of that. I wouldn't have a discussion with them, period. Because again, okay, so you saw the statements. This was mailed. Oh, wait, there's another document, too, that was mailed. So apparently there was another document that Veteran Nation had mailed to them, and it was about Lloyd's camper. So would you like to see that? Do you want to see the Lloyd's camper one that was sent to Travis? I'm gonna have to clip the middle out of it because it has email addresses and stuff on it. But would you like to see that? And we'll talk about this in context a little bit later. I wasn't planning on doing this, but would you like to see the one that's about that too? So there's been another legal document that has been thrown out. And this is to Travis. Now, the reason that we have this is not because of Travis. So I want to make that very, very clear. It's the fact that when Brucey sends out stuff, he tags other people into it. And these documents, well, once they're making their way around town. So let me pull this one up here too. So he actually sent a document to Travis. And I've not talked to Travis about that. But again, he's just sending it to everyone. So Travis, like I said, there is no conversation with Travis about it. There has been no discussion whatsoever. I'm not bringing him into this in any way. I know he doesn't like drama, but you know what? They're not going to leave him alone. And this is about Lloyd Campbell's RV. So you can see this message. And again, this was included with another person. So I'm making it very clear. This is not this being sent to Travis and Travis giving it to other people. Like I noted, Bruce, one of the reasons he didn't get any conversation from me is because he was tagging other people into emails. And I found that to be disingenuous. I find it to be disingenuous because he's playing the part of a lawyer and he's trying to bait people into litigation. And yet, at the same time, he's trying to drama farm it by putting another channel into the conversation. He's CCing them in. Not BCCing. I have no idea. I almost said that wrong. It's like BCC, not that other thing that would mean something totally bad. I was like, oh my God. We'll see. If he does that, that's his prerogative, by the way. All the best on that one, but that's not what I meant. But this is, Dear Mr. Willis, further to my message sent to you on GoFundMe. So apparently there was a message on GoFundMe that was thrown out there too. Remember, there was a GoFundMe that was placed with Lloyd. I thought we would talk about all of that stuff again Wednesday. I thought it would have proper context. That way I'm not just throwing random shit at you, you know. I like everything to, it may not fit perfectly. Like I said, this came up in the conversation with it. It does attach to all of the other legal demands and other messages and whatnot. But this is also being sent around to people. So, anyway. I am placing you on notice of legal action against you for theft of the RV from Miss Preston's property. We are going to talk about this more in depth, maybe tomorrow, by the way. I just want to include this. You notice this. Theft. So you know this is going to go toward Madam Mayor if it hasn't already too. So, even though, here's your fuck up, Bruce. You want me to tell you your fuck up in this? Miss Preston there admitted with property that wasn't her property. She was asked, do you dispute any of this property whatsoever? And apparently Lloyd's camper, I told you, man, I told you when that conversation came up about the dollar and the exchange that they would try to pull some hinky bullshit with this stuff. I told you. I mean, holy God. One second. My chat keeps freezing. See, here's the thing, too. I know people will try to tell me stuff in chat. And one of the things that happens here, by the way, I read along with chat. And I'll say, hey, I'm trying to tell Tug something. You know, and I'm like, what were you trying to tell me? Because the chat, but YouTube has been bad about chats freezing lately. You know, so I'll miss something. And I'm like, what was somebody trying to tell me there? But yeah, okay, so Miss Preston has a valid enforceable contract with Lloyd, whereby he would live on her property rent-free with $500 a month credit toward the $9,000 agreed purchase price of the RV. So now, him living on the property and everything else, they're saying that the RV was actually hers. And that every month that he was living there, he was paying $500. Huh. What do you guys think of that? Like, just drink that in. Every month he lived on this property where he was saying he was terrified. Now, this wasn't brought up when the police were there. Hey, we have a contract that's enforceable. Whereby they didn't dispute the items or anything else. But in the aftermath, they're saying, well, you know what, again, I'm going to do its own life because I want to separate this topic and I want to bring more into it. But I just want you to see this. And I almost forgot about it. I don't want to sit on this for a day. Because I think this, yeah, the purpose in giving something a spotlight isn't to sit on it. The purpose in giving something a spotlight is to make sure people understand like everything that's going on. Because it's all crazy. This is how insane. It's just going to go everywhere. It's just throwing darts. So they say, there's a $900 agreed there. Now, once Mr. Campbell left, the balance would be paid to him at $200 a month. So he lived there for 5 months. So he's owed $6,500 to complete her purchase, payable at $200 a month for 32.5 months. So they're trying to take his freaking RV away. Now, this is just some random fucking, this is some random curveball that's thrown in there. Wait a minute. You know, again, not brought up to the cops while they were there. None of this stuff was stated whatsoever. Now, this is an attempt to say they worked out a price with Lloyd. And on top of that, again, for him to live on that property with everything that he talks about. That doesn't matter, does it? Huh. Now, based on your public videos, it's clear that you are in control of the RV. Unless you ensure it is preserved pending resolution of her claim and not sold or donated, you will be liable for damages for interfering with Miss Preston's contract and her loss of RV. So this is a threat toward Travis. They go out, they do a good deed, they try to remove somebody from a horrible situation where they talk about it, and guess what? Lloyd can't be removed from the situation. Lloyd is still part of it. Lloyd is not allowed to leave, not allowed to leave the property because you leave with nothing. You leave with nothing. It was just crazy. If I do not receive a response from you or your legal representative by the 26th, so we have 2 days on this. So like I said, I will either cover this tomorrow more in depth. I know Jeremy live streams, so I'll try to make it earlier. If I live stream tomorrow, I'll try to go a little earlier. You know, we'll see. All right, maybe I can, because I don't like live streaming on something that's, again, you know, it's not like I'm going to detract from their stuff if they live stream. But if they do, you know, the problem has become this, though. It used to be, the way I was thinking about that was, when I looked at it, there was one party involved versus one party. That's what it was. It was party. You know, even if you want to say, again, you could be technical and say Jeremy and George versus Preston and Cook. But like I say, it's party. You know, now you have party versus party, potential party. I'm really being serious about when I say this. Potential party. I believe, I know 4 people that have been threatened for sure, and I can think of multiple other potential parties. So you could be talking about a dozen or more people now. You know, and again, I'm including, when I say party, when I went party, I'm separating Jeremy and George. You know, remember, there's 4 right off the bat. I don't want to leave, again, I want to highlight, I'm going to put DJ Redis at the top for this one. Again, I feel like he gets to be the odd man out, and he's facing the same bullshit. So DJ Redis. You also, on top of that, you have DUI guy, you have George, you have Jeremy. I switched up the normal flow I would put those in, you know, just to highlight. But those are the for sure parties. Now, outside of that, there's a threat for Travis. There has been talk about, again, Megan Fox, you know, with her Legos. There's another party there. There has been Veteran Nation. I believe, like I said, with everything that's been talked about, I firmly believe they will aim something with Madam Mayor. And I mean, how far else does it go? Like, there's a lot of other craziness. So much crazy. And it's going to be fast, like I said. None of these people can think, when they look at this stuff, that they have opened themselves up for like a shit storm. An absolute shit storm. But By August 26th, I will assume you intend to give the RV to the veteran pictured in your GoFundMe and will proceed without delay to initiate legal action against you. Very truly. Very truly. I'm going to sue you, Travis, if by the 26th I haven't heard from you. If you don't talk to me, I'm going to sue you. Holy shit, man. Like I said, for me, I know I've covered a lot of hell stuff. I mean, look at this, though. This ain't just picking up like a video here or a video. I mean, we're talking about a fuck ton of crazy. Now, on top of it, like I was going to, and I want to include this, and this go toward the Veteran Nation portion of this, too. Remember, there was already what was aimed at Veteran Nation. You know, we had the... give me 1 second here. With a YouTube legal, I'm not going to spend time dissecting anything. We've already done that. I want you to drink it in with all the statements that came up. Okay. For dear YouTube legal support, linked video, Veteran Nation, after rebroadcasting video footage from What the Hell. So you notice right off the top, this right here, this was acknowledged as a false statement. So this is a false statement to legal with YouTube. I think perhaps Veteran Nation might want to write them and to note that has been noted as a false statement. Because again, this was the allegation trying to take down their channel.
I thought you were done with the washroom.
Huh?
I thought you were done with the washroom.
No, I'm just covering the end of that, and then I've got to read my super chats. Give me 5, though. Is it holding up to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, here's how you do it. Look. You bend it this way, like this. Push, 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 push. And then when you fold it back up, if it gets messed up, you can push it and make it that way. See what I mean? Isn't that cool?
Let me try. Push, push, push.
Yeah, it should help it. Here, why don't you go upstairs?
Love you.
I love you too.
If you let me have a rocky pop in the morning, I'll love you forever.
Oh, you will, huh? I don't know in the morning, though, but we'll have one tomorrow for sure. If you are great like you are every day, of course we will. Right? Yeah?
I love you, Dad.
I love you too, baby.
Tell me when you're off the live stream.
I will, for sure.
Come to my room.
I will. I'll come up and...
Okay, I'll go watch the TV.
Okay, all right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's funny. She was showing me her toy, the bend in it. Again, that's why she gave to talk about it. She was like, "Oh, I thought you were sitting here doing something else." I was like, oh, "Okay." That's funny there. And she was like, "Oh, if I get a rocket pop in the morning, I'll love you forever." I was like, oh, "We will not have one in the morning, but we can have one tomorrow because you're always good." So anyway. This false statement called CPS, report of Miss Preston, streaming live. I was on hold while he spoke at leaked CPS, then started to change.org live on the stream, got hundreds of viewers to sign instantly, which is actually not a true statement either. They did not sign instantly. There were I believe there were 52 signatures when that was brought up for review. So, you didn't have hundreds of people instantly sign that. It was the goal to have my client's child removed from mother. As a result of the live stream, she was visited by CPS the following day, 24th such visit. As a result, called in by What the Hell's viewers last year and now of Veteran Nation. Is aware of the 23 priors. And has resulted in no finding of neglect instead of deferring to the 23 determinations by CPS professionals. I'm going to call them Veteran Nation. Veteran Nation attributed CPS failure to take my client's child from her to quote-unquote corruption. YouTube and in particular those who read emails and letters received at this email address are and have long been aware of the content being streamed by what the hell's targeted Miss Preston. Again, that statement just sticks with me. I hope everybody drinks that one in. That is saying this has been a long time strategy employed to try to take down that channel. 100%. That highlights it 100%. Veteran Nation's live CPS stunt and result disruption of my client's live should be to demonstrate to you how far the fake reality bad YouTubers storyline using my client's life has gone too far. It's time for YouTube to take action. It should shut down Veteran Nation's channel. It should shut it down. As always, I'm available. As always, as in the other times that you've written, because that's how it reads to me. As always, I am available. So as always, just like I've said prior, I am available to talk to you about these claims that we are making. Huh. Fascinating. I wonder if we got one for Megan Fox. Here's a wonderful question. I wonder if we got one about thumbnails. Did DUI guy have one named at them? Did I have one aimed at me? Did DJ Radis have one? The Hales, of course, they've had, well, God knows what aimed at them. But on top of that, I mean, what else? Who else has been aimed at? That just, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Let's hit super chats. So Jason, thanks for the 2. Taking you to black out the names. What on the on which filing? That filing there was good to go. They had the bottom attached filing. You know, here's the thing though. Here's the problem. I try to redact all documents, but here's the nasty of all of this. The names were redacted. They've added them. They are public record now. Like, if I realize, for myself, I try to redact name, not from conversations like the back and forth with Veteran Nation. But I figure you're talking about the document that was asking for Judge Thomas's to be removed. Like with that, what you have to remember, like I said, the first document when they open this stuff up, and again, I try to redact people in there. The messed up thing about that is they're everywhere now. It's like putting your finger in a busted dam. It's crazy, isn't it? And you know what's really crazy about that? The people that have complained about all of this stuff say that, again, they don't want their client's name broadcast. And you have people that specifically, I think it's fascinating. Again, when Bruce writes me, he writes me by my legal name. I don't use my legal name online. But Doxers did. And Bruce loves that, don't you, Brucey? Scumbag behavior. But hey, that's what scumbag lawyers do. They chase those ambulances. They try to run after them like a little Sonic, hoping that they can get some coins, baby. It's just fucked up, man. Yeah, I hear you there for sure. Yeah, thanks for the 8 months there. Appreciate you there. What is that? Is that a little devil? What is that? I can't tell what that is. It almost looks like a. It looks like a. It looks like a really mean steer. I don't know what it is. Vicky, thanks for two. She has cameras on the property. Indeed she does. That's true. That's true. That's probably where I was talking about the removal and filming. Yeah, she does. I just, for myself, so much crazy. Oh, anyway, Sandra, thank you for the gifted membership. Appreciate that. Brenda also, thank you for a gifted membership. I appreciate that too. Thank you. Janice, thanks for the, or Janice, I'm sorry. Thanks for the 20 there. This told 2 fleas in a pond to block Lynette in their channel live because she was incriminating herself. Really? Did that happen? Seriously? Did that seriously happen? So, did Bruce say, does anybody have screenshots of what was being said in the chat there? That would be an awfully fascinating discussion were that to have actually happened. I know that they had an interview. I have not. If somebody wants to snippet that and send it over as a clip, that's fine. I don't want to dig through all that. I think that was a rather lengthy live stream. I just I can't bring myself to dig through 9 hours of live stream for it. But that interview itself, if somebody wants to cut the interview out and say, hey, heck yeah. That's public too. But that is fascinating. I mean, if they're being like, yo, Georgia, you served Amber Heard's lawyers. I never served anybody, by the way. Yeah, I dealt with them, though, for sure. Yeah. It isn't compared to them. It will be hilarious to see if he tries anything on you. Yeah, you mean survived them? Yeah. Actually, I'm not worried. It's like I said, it's just all of it's a time suck for everybody that gets involved. At the same time, I mean, they need to understand, too, every channel that they bring up, they grow. They give them notice. You know what added over 100,000 subscribers to my channel? A lawyer bringing me up. They brought me up in that trial. So, yeah, they need to understand that when they're doing that, they're probably not going to really inflate their channel numbers over that way. Maybe they can somewhat, but they'll grow like a big channel to make them bigger. So, with a DUI guy getting covered in all of this, yeah, more people will see that and will go like, whoa, you mean that guy that he was seen in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing? And Karen Reed? He talked about what the hell, all these other things too. That guy? Maybe we should check that out. Yeah. They just grow them. That's what they'll never get. Chris, thanks for that. I've seen an article that Bruce lives in Argentina. How can he be making legal threats, giving legal advice when he doesn't even live in the country? Yeah, I'm not sure about that at all. I don't know where he's, I've not been motivated enough to look up Bruce and to look up his freaking where he can or can't practice, any kind of actions that are being discussed. I wasn't even motivated to do that. I did look up the other lawyer because they filed a claim. So I thought that would be fascinating. Just because, they went out of their way. The reason I looked up that Scott, or Sean, whatever his fucking name, I don't even remember his name right this minute. But the reason I looked up her lawyer on those legal filings is because they did their best to obfuscate. They wanted to make sure that you never found out who they were until they filed. In fact, with DJ Radis, they went to extremes to make sure that he couldn't find out who exactly they were talking about. So that's why I looked them up. Because there was a little bit of curiosity. To what degree? It was limited, but it was still there. Me, though, I have more pressing matters. Instead of when I finish this, I'm going to watch Long Legs tonight. I typically would wait, but I want to see that movie, so I'm going to watch that tonight. That's my thing tonight. I'm not going to spend my time looking at anything. I'm going to put it to you. Again, I would rather watch paint dry than deal with some of those things with some of those people. But, yeah, tonight I want to watch Long Legs. Dick, thanks for the gifted membership there. Appreciate that. Deanna, thanks for the 10. Do your homework. Indeed. Rebel, thanks for the 10 there. Lawn Trooper says he sent something relevant to your topic to your Twitter DM. Let me see what that is. Let me just look real quick. Let me see. Give me a second. Wait to Facebook. Go ahead tonight. Give me 1 minute. I'm seeing if it'll pull up. Facebook is so slow. Oh wow, that's fascinating. Actually, yeah, that does add to stuff. Here, let me add one other thing. I guess. Give me a second here. Yeah, that does add to it. Give me a second. I guess I will add that too. That does. Thank you, by the way. When we're live, by the way, I do not typically watch Twitter, so if somebody sends me something when y'all mention it, I appreciate that, because I don't monitor Twitter, and I don't keep that. If I kept give me a second here, pulling this up. So this is actually in the discussion. This actually is good here. Let me hit a couple of super chats and then I'll pull this up, okay? Because it is relevant. Jason, thanks for the 2. Sure, she wants it now. It's been fixed and cleaned. Yeah, talking about that RV, of course. SF, thanks for 5. She had no problem or dispute of him taking the camper. I mean, she said it had to be someone not associated with the Hells. Exactly. And, you know, she did dispute a piece of property, too. So when it came to disputed property, there was a dispute over a refrigerator, right? She said, oh, that's mine, blah, 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 but didn't say a word about the camper. Isn't that fascinating? Jack's mom, thanks for the 10. John got $1,200 for the sale of tools. They have his $1,200 refrigerator. She owes Lloyd $140, totaling $2,540. So that should cover the supposed $500 a month rent for 5 months. They took more from him. Yeah, it's fascinating too. You know, there were discussions about people using EBT cards, items for paying electricity, and more. I'd be curious about that living on the property. You know, was that just him living there, period? Was he supposed to be paying for other people's utilities? How exactly does that work out? I'm curious about it. Iron Rabbit, thanks for 5. Where's the written contract with terms of sale? That is a very good question, too, by the way. Tie Stick, thanks for the 5. Every lawsuit he files only bolsters the position that this is a public interest, therefore protected speech. That is true, too. That is true, too, indeed. Deanna Grace, thanks for the 10 there. But the toy fun, yeah. Luckily that one wasn't broken, so we had to be another one. Thank you. Appreciate that. Bonnie, thanks for the 5 there. Get some coins, you crack me up. Bye-bye, Brucey Sonic. I know. he's running after them. I'm just imagining him running through those little tunnels. and chasing those. Ugh. Ace, thanks you for the 5 gifted memberships off of that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Very much so. Thank you. I thank all of you, too. I appreciate all of you. But thank you all. I mean, that's... this channel, you know, I was like, do I want to lean toward live streams? And, you know, it gives me more time to research and stuff versus popping out a video, and doing live streams. You know, there's a lot going on in the days. It gives me more time to focus on that. And y'all have supported that, so thank you. Kelly B, thanks for the 10 there. How has Bruce the douche been writing these letters? He can't do a damn thing in Florida. It should be your lawyer in Florida, right? Isn't that a form of harassment? It is fascinating. Well, he's her legal representative, and he's saying there will be something. You know, he's part of her team. Ugh, just playing their little funked up game. Are they harassing people? It seems like it to me. Scott, I mean, over their own definition, right? Scott thinks at the end, she's only coming after it because he had a successful GoFundMe. Yeah, there you go. You know, it's not a GoFundMe, it's a successful GoFundMe, isn't it? Okay, so here's something that is of interest too. There's a discussion for the attention of Deuce Foreskin, Sean, anyone else, you know, everyone, let me educate you. Legal guardian. Most jurisdictions recognize that parents of a child are the natural guardians of the child, and that the parents may designate who shall become the child's legal guardian in the event of death, typically subject to the approval of the court. The court may appoint guardian for a minor if their parents are disabled or deceased, or if the minor's parents cannot properly manage for the child's safety and well-being. If a non-parent is appointed as guardian, the court will determine how the parent's parental rights are impacted by the appointment. 2. Natural guardian. A minor child's parents, they are the natural guardians, like we said. So a natural guardian is a parent which includes father, mother of a minor, recognized by law. There's also appointed guardian. You total blip. Freaking Foreskin did not mention any of this, did he? Appointed by the court. Appointed guardians, for example, are, as it says, appointed by the court or in will to look after the child, make decisions for said child. The role also makes decisions the child does not have a legal right to decide on things like medical, etc. They go through adoption, like what you have to do, how exactly that works. So yeah, I mean, they're making the point there again. Guardians. What is a guardian? Huh. Waxing poetic about that word. I find that to be such a derailment, don't you? Love is a 4-letter word. Thanks for the 10. I have no idea what you're talking about, Tug. I just find I play better poker when I'm listening to you talk. I love your voice. Much respect. Hey, you're here. Thank you. You play better poker there. Maybe I'll bring you good luck. In this case, if you don't know, there's a very good breakdown of what's happening with it, okay? It's one of those videos from DUI Guy. In fact, I'll tell you. Like, it'll give you the background, and this is kind of broken off into other pieces, all right? But there is a video from DUI Guy called What the Hell's TLDR version of their legal court battle. It is the second video in their playlist. If you want to look it up by that, all you got to do is go to the channel. There's little selectors across the top. You go to playlist. Their playlist is on the second row, I believe. The last one on the right, and hit that video. It's 20 minutes. That'll give you an idea of some of what happened in the courtrooms up to a point. You know. Now the new part of this is anybody that used a thumbnail with this person that is suing multiple people now, but was involved in this litigation with What the Hell's. They have decided, hey, we're going to sue a bunch of people. They're making threats to sue a bunch of other people. And it has gone absolutely mad. And it is fascinating to watch because every single day there is some new crazy that gets thrown into the mix. But we'll clarify some stuff. I may play some I may talk to the DUI Guy about playing his video, giving a little TLDR. You know, that way there is some catch up and people understand up to that point. And there's been a lot that's happened from there. But you tuning in, period. I hope I bring you good luck. You know, and I appreciate you being here, no matter what. But anyway, I'm going to call it at that. I got some stuff to do. I'm going to see if I can get on Flashcast tonight, too. I've been invited. But yeah, I'm going to see if I can do that. I'm going to try to work that out too. That's on Yellow Flash 2's channel, so if you want to check that out. But I'm going to end here. I appreciate you folks. It went longer than I wanted it to, but hey, there's a lot to cover in these live streams. So thank you and see you.